So now y'all come into my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. I'm glad you're here. Happy Wednesday to you. Y'all are making something that you're going to be surprised about because I'm pretty Tex-Mexy Southern comfort food. We're making pork stir fry today. I know, isn't that something unique for this show? Stir fry fried rice is comfort food if you ask me. Like there are many nights that Sam and I will be going on a date and it just sounds good. It's a little bit oily, it's got lots of flavor and it's tender and all that good, those good sauteed vegetables and some yummy meat. Throw in some kind of like little fried something as an appetizer and call it a day. We are happy, happy people. So this can kind of fall into like a comfort food recipe, wouldn't you think? I just love it, and we have always gone out for it. I have not always made it at home because everything was always a little bit kind of plain old run-of-the-mill to me. You know, regular old chicken fried rice, which is delicious, by the way. But I just wanted to do something different, and I don't know, kind of more like veggie heavy and some new flavors and all of that. And so I have this delicious recipe. I think you're gonna really love it. It is a pork fried rice rather than chicken or shrimp, which is a pretty standard. So we're gonna do pork. And then we're sauteing in some beautiful portobello mushroom caps. And then the classic peas and carrots, of course, because you really can't have fried rice without peas and carrots in there. And then we're gonna saute in some greens and then top it with these gorgeous blistered sugar snap peas on the top. We're gonna do a heavy sea salt and olive oil on them and roast them in the oven really quickly. Actually, we're just gonna broil them, and so they'll just do it in a couple minutes. So we kind of have our stations going. It's great flavors. I'm excited for y'all to try them. So this is my little pre-packaged, you know, you buy it in the produce section. They're already sectioned out for you. They're like maybe 6 or 8 ounces or so of sugar snap peas. And I have got them laid out on my sheet pan. And I've gone ahead and moved my broiler or my oven rack up to the high position because that's where you broil. So I kind of have this waiting in the wings because we do it at the very, very end and it goes very quickly. So you kind of want to get prepared. So that's what we have here, waiting. I have boiling water on the stove because all we're going to do is boil some quick rice. Like I use brown rice and I do the quick kind that cooks like in, I think it's like 8 to 10 minutes or so, and that's it. Piece of cake, because we've got a lot we're gonna do right here. So if that can be easy, then why in the world wouldn't you want it to be? So we're gonna do those shortly, okay? Now, let me tell you what we've got going. Okay, let's do our little sauce here real quick. We'll move this boy over and I'll tell you what this is shortly. So we just want to do a little sauce, and this is going to go in at the very, very end, but we're just going to mix it up and set it aside. And we have a little soy sauce, and we have some sesame oil, which you really just cannot have stir fry without sesame oil. You just get it at your grocery, like right there by the vegetable oil and the olive oil. And if it's not in that section, it could be over in like the Asian sauces, but I would always check first in the classic oils, but it's a sesame oil, it's delicious. And then this is a little rice vinegar, and then some honey, and that's it. It's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit savory, it's a little bit earthy. It's got some tang from that vinegar. It's just really good, y'all. So that is all there is to our sauce that we're gonna stir in at the very end. Isn't that easy? I'm gonna whisk it and taste it. Okay, so we only put in the tiniest bit of sesame oil. It is just so critical. If you decide to make this, don't think that you can substitute with another oil. You definitely need it. It's that nutty, earthy bite in there. Oh, I could almost drink that. It's so good. Okay, so let's talk about our pork. This is a really fun way to do this, y'all. This is one of those pork tenderloins that you buy that comes in the sleeve and it's all marinated, which I had this idea of, instead of having to go to the trouble to marinate pork in some kind of lemon pepper or teriyaki or season the outside or whatever so that the bites are really good, why don't we just buy one and saute that? So that's what we've done here. I think this one is like almost a 2-pound pork tenderloin. And what I did, because this one actually had some seasoning on the outside, and I don't remember what kind what flavor this was. And to be completely honest, I don't even think it matters because we're gonna saute it in oil and throw in all these other flavors and then coat it in that good Asian flavor. So I don't even think it matters. But I didn't want that heavy, thick, I mean, it was gloppy with seasoning, so I did roll it off in some paper towels. But at least there's flavor down in that meat. All I'm gonna do with this is cut it in half and cube it, and then that's it. And you want these to be in really, not chopped, like chopped up, because that's not really how it looks when you make a pork, but just some really nice little cubes that'll fit on your fork with a little bit of something else and something else. You kind of want to get a good forkful, so you want to have a little bit of room, but we're going to make some little bitty cubes on this, and I'm going to work on that while we're gone, and when we come back, I'll show you what I'm talking about, and we're going to keep going. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. Okay, so we were just giggling about this a little bit. This is my first time to use my fancy burner. Isn't it a fancy burner? So y'all have to all wish me luck. It's not my first time to use it ever. It's my first time to use it for you all. And so y'all wish me luck. But I didn't want to have my back to you when I stir-fried all day, right? So I have my fancy burner turned on about medium high, and I've put in some coconut oil, about 1/4 cup, quite a bit, like all around the bottom of the pan. And then I'm going to go ahead and get that's melting. I'm going to go ahead and get my brown rice in my water. Oh, I wasn't supposed to cut that open. Dadgummit. We'll just do it. We'll do it anyway. It'll work. We'll drain it. Okay, we're going to get those down in there. This is when you got to wing it. You got to just wing it. And if you're a cooking parent at home and the phone rings and your kids are on your legs and you cut the rice open and you weren't supposed to, you just put it in there anyway. You know what I mean? Okay, so here we go. I cut the cubes of the pork, probably about a 1/2 inch cube or so. And I've got my oil preheated. And I didn't do the whole thing. It was close to 2 pounds, which is quite a bit. Here we go. Quite a bit. And so I just saved the rest. You could cook it all and then save this and put it in a pasta or snack on it or whatever. I probably did, I don't know, 1.5 pound, something like that. I'm going to use my splatter screen. Can y'all hear me? Good heavens, this is loud, isn't it? Everybody hear me okay? Oh my gosh, it already smells so good. So I'm going to put that in there. Give it a little spin. Some of those pieces have already gotten so brown and yummy looking. Oh my word. Okay, I'm getting it all in one little even layer. Okie doke. And I'm going to cover it. I'm just going to kind of watch it and stir fry. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my mushroom caps. I just have 2 of these portobello mushroom caps. And really and truly, you know, I have these measurements, and y'all can do whatever you would like. You don't, you know, if your pan is too full, or you don't love this particular ingredient and you like something else, then don't use it all. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have plenty of food without any trouble. So I have just quartered these, and I'm cutting them in kind of thin pieces right here. And we're going to saute those down. And, you know, mushrooms really shrink down when they get cooked. So I think those are fine. And the mushrooms are delicious, especially at the end when they get all that good soy sauce and that vinegar and that sesame oil in them. They are really, really good. So I'm going to put in and saute down at least 1.5 of these. This one's kind of big. You can just kind of eyeball it and see what works for your pan. And you do need a pretty good sized pan, y'all, because we are loading it up, like loading it up. And you know, I have this big boy. This is my 3.5 quart Dutch oven brazier from Le Creuset. I have them at Unimaze, and you know I use them all the time. But they, I probably could have even used a pan that was just the tiniest bit bigger because we're gonna be filling it up. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. They're getting brown. And this is gonna, you just really wanna brown it on the outsides real well and give it a good stir. And it's gonna continue to cook through because this is just the first thing we're adding to our pan. We're gonna add our greens and our mushrooms to it. So I can still see a little bit of pink, but I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my mushrooms in there so that they can be cooking down as the pork continues to cook. Oh gosh, it smells so good. Now, on to our little green that's gonna go in here. You can absolutely use Napa cabbage, which would probably be my favorite choice, my number one. You could also use bok choy, which, you know, your checker at the grocery may have to look at you and say, what exactly is this? Because not very many people buy it. But it also kind of comes in a big long bunch. And any kind of green like that will really work. Collards, mustard greens, any kind of green that you like, you can put in. I prefer a cabbage. At this point, my grocery store for today did not have those, so I'm just gonna do collards because it's what they had. And so that's another thing. Throw in what you have, it's all gonna taste really good. So all I did was take one big bunch of collards and cut the end off. And then I'm just cutting them into little thin ribbons like this. Now the collards are gonna need to cook quite a while, so we're gonna go ahead and get them in here. Because they take a little longer to get tender. If you were to use a Napa cabbage, then it actually would cook pretty quickly and they wouldn't have to spend as much time. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in there. And I think that's plenty. And we're gonna let that get stirring, and then when we come back, we're gonna keep on rolling. It's fun, we're gonna put our snap peas in. This is cooking today. Hi, welcome back. It's pork fried rice day. Isn't that so fun? Oh my goodness, you should smell how good it smells in here. So we cut up, this is so easy, y'all. We cut up one of those pre-marinated pork tenderloins. We just cubed it, got great flavor in it already, nice and tender, and cubed it into just half-inch cubes, put it in here, sauteed it till it got a really nice little crispy brown on the outside, and then I added in some sliced portobello mushrooms, and then I stirred in some greens. I did collards, but I love it with cabbage, and I love it with mustard greens. You can do whatever, and then just nice and thin. And now we've just got that sauteed and cooked down really pretty. And this is so simple. You can't have fried rice without peas and carrots. So this is actually a 12-ounce bag, but I'm not gonna use the whole thing. I'm gonna use just about half. So maybe 6 ounces, 8 ounces of frozen peas and carrots. We're gonna get those in there, and I don't thaw them or anything because they're so small, and they're pre-cooked already and then frozen, so they're gonna cook through without any trouble whatsoever. So I'm gonna just kind of get them tucked in. And then this is the point where you wanna give it a pretty good little seasoning, like a good salt, especially since we put those greens in. Greens and those mushrooms definitely need some salt. So I wanna be sure to get that in there. I'm just gonna do a little pinch of black pepper for good measure. Okay. And then I'm gonna let this just kind of cook and stir as well, right here. And I like to think that this is a healthier version of a fried rice, you know, like healthier than what you might get out, because all we used was about a 1/4 cup of coconut oil inside here, and then we're using pork, which is a nice light meat, and the mushrooms are good for you, and the greens are good for you, and the peas and carrots are good for you, and it's just a really great dish, and it's a one-pot wonder. Don't we love those on a night when we have so much going on for a weekend or after church when we have to make something pretty quickly? Okay. I'm gonna let that sit a second. Let those peas and carrots get nice and tender. Now, let's see what else we have here. Okay, again, another thing that you cannot have or cannot go without with fried rice is your scrambled egg, right? You can definitely scramble an egg in a different pan, but there's another pan, and we love that this has only got the one pot. And so what we're gonna do in a minute is we're gonna scoot all the ingredients over, and we're just gonna scramble this egg right in the side and then scoop it all over and in. It's really, really easy. So this is 4 large eggs, and they are just lightly beaten with my fork. Easy. Then I have my sugar snap peas, and what I'm gonna go ahead and do is preheat my high broiler. Okay? I'm gonna preheat it, and then when it's time to put them in, they're gonna go pretty quick, probably in about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm just giving them a little drizzle of olive oil. You can use your fingers or a utensil if you want, but I don't want to. And then a good flaked salt on top. So good. And you know what else you could do, which I actually just thought about? You could grab a couple cloves of garlic, throw them on here too, and roast those really quick, broil those. Garlic never hurts anyone, right? So I have those ready to go. I'm gonna pull my rice off in just a minute, and let's check and see how we're doing on this. Yeah, peas and carrots, already nice and tender. So here's what we're doing. I'm scooting everything over to make room in my pan. I'm gonna turn my heat down just the littlest because I don't want to just brown them to pieces, my eggs. I'm just scooting everything over, and here we go. Ready? Now what's important is to pour them in over here on one side of your pan, and don't stir them. Just let them kind of set up for a second on the bottom, and they're just gonna kind of start to set, okay? And they're gonna start to ooch over just a little bit into your filling, and that's perfectly okay. It's all going together in the first place, but we're just gonna let this go for just a minute, and I just watch it. And we're having a little bubble, and you're gonna start to see how it starts to set. And just as it starts to set, you can kind of stir it around and break it up a little bit, and then all we do is stir it over into our good pork and our veggies and all of that. So I'm giving it a little watch. Yeah, we're about to get there. It's still a little bit liquid, but we're gonna do it in just a sec. Then what we have, sesame seeds, of course, because why not? And it's so Asian, and it's just that nutty flavor that is so good. Of course, and it's in our oil, that sesame oil. We have our sauce that we're gonna pour on right at the very end. And we also have some green onions that we're gonna chop up and put on. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start to scramble this egg, y'all, right here in the side of this pan. Break it up, scramble it in, stir it all up, and when we come back, we're gonna toss our rice in and call it a day. Isn't that easy? A pork fried rice, one pot wonder. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back. We are just finishing up pork fried rice with these beautiful blistered sugar snap peas that we just broiled in the oven. Oh my goodness, they look so good. The broiler's off. We have stirred in our egg that we scrambled, tasted for seasoning. It tastes really good. And then we've got about 4 cups or so of rice. And again, if it overwhelms your pan, then don't use it all. Just use 3 cups or so. So yeah, like that. I'm just gonna leave a little bit in the pan and stir it in, and you can always add a little bit more if you would like. And then remember our delicious sauce that I tasted and loved so much. Here we go. We're gonna pour it all in. It's got that little tiny bit of oil, just that littlest bit of that sesame oil. I'm gonna turn my heat back up, stir this in, and just stir fry it for another few minutes, and that is it. Just till the rice kind of meshes with the heat of the filling. Oh my goodness, look at that. Good brown rice, lots of good hearty earthy vegetables. And then all we're gonna do, I'm telling you, I know, I keep saying it, I'm laughing because I just keep saying, it smells good, y'all. Okay, then, all we're gonna do is load up a plate, Look at that. Greens or cabbage, whatever it is that you like. Load up a plate. We have chopped some scallions. Oh, look at those greens. We've chopped some scallions. We have our sesame seeds. We have our blistered snap peas. Look at this loaded up plate, y'all. Can you even believe? Look at that. I know Kyle's getting excited because he gets to eat a bowl of this. Look. Sugar snap peas on top, onions, sesame seeds. What a dish. I hope you'll try it at home. Love every bite. This is Cooking Today.